In this video, we will learn word order. Word order is nothing but the arrangement of words in a sentence, right? For example, when I take correlative conjunctions, and, or, neither nor, not only but also, either or, right? What happens is, when it joins two independent clauses, you need to make sure that the positioning of the words is parallel or matches in both the clauses. We're going to look at some examples for that. We're also going to learn what is a basic form, like what is the basic form of sequence of the words in a sentence, right? And how do we position them? So let's apply this learning and learn to identify errors pertaining to word order through some example sentences.
Now when it comes to word order, the sequence is pretty much this: subject plus verb plus indirect object plus direct object plus place and then time, right? This is pretty much the sequence that you need to follow. Let's look at an example sentence. I will tell you the story at work tomorrow, right? This is our example sentence. So I have the subject I, okay, I have the subject I, and then I have the verb will tell, then I have the indirect object, which is you, right? I have the direct object, which is the story. I will tell you what? The story, which is the direct object. To whom will I tell the story? The indirect object, you, okay, and where? The place, at work, and the time frame given is tomorrow, right? So this is pretty much the basic sequence of a sentence in terms of putting words in order. So you need to keep this in mind. Now, having this base understanding, let's look at our first example. If you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and never you will get it back. Are you able to identify where the error is? If you lend him a book, okay, so that pretty much, the first part of the sentence pretty much follows everything, right? If you lend him a book, you, subject, lend, verb, him, indirect object, a book, direct object, he will lend it to someone else. Again, subject, he will lend, verb, it, indirect object, to someone else, and never you will get it back. Okay, so this seems, the second part of the sentence seems a little awkward. So where do you think the change needs to come in? And you will never get it back, right? Let's go ahead and make that change. If you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and you will never get it back. Let's move on to our second example. He both won a medal and a scholarship. That's the sentence given, and my options are: option A, he won a medal and a scholarship both. Both, he won a medal and a scholarship. He won both a medal and a scholarship. And then, of course, no improvement. Now, let's understand our sequence. We have the subject, he. Both is my indirect object. One is my verb, which means I have to interchange that. And then I have a medal and a scholarship, which are my direct objects, right? So which sequence is giving me, is it the order that I need? Is it option A, is it option B, or is it option C? Correct. If I look at option A, I have the subject and the verb, but then I have the direct objects coming before the indirect object. So option A is ruled out. Option B, it starts with the verb. Again, this is ruled out. Option C, I have the subject, I have the verb, I have the indirect object, and then I have the direct object. So option C follows or adheres to the word order rule, and that will be the answer. Alright. So in example 2, option C is the right answer. Let's move on to our next example. He has for good left India. Okay. My option A is he has left for good India. He has left India for good. Good, he has left India. And then no improvement. Okay. So again, let's look at our word order options. I have he, which is my subject, has, and then the other part of the verb is kind of separated with for good. Now for good tells me the time frame, right? How long has he gone for? And then of course India is the place. I know that the given sentence is incorrect. It does not adhere to the word order rule, right? Let's look at option A. He has left. So I have my subject he, I have has left, which is the verb, but then I have the time frame coming in before the place. So option A is ruled out. Option B, subject, verb, and then I have the place and then the time frame. Now this seems like the right fit. He has left India for good. But let's look at option C. Good, he has left India. Now this gives a completely different meaning, and in this context it does not adhere to the word order rule that we're looking at. So we fall back on option B, which is the right answer. He has left India for good. So I have the subject, I have the verb, I have the place, and I have the time frame as well. There is no direct and indirect object in this context, which is fine. Alright, the meaning of the sentence is still complete.
So I'm positive these example sentences have not only given you an idea of what is the basic form of words that come in a sentence, the arrangement of them, and also you've been able to look at some rules through this process. So keep practicing, and let's go ahead and move to our next component in finding errors.